Welcome, Retake fam, to a brand new episode about Rainbow Six Siege, the best show about Rainbow Six Siege, if I say so myself. I'm Lisa Dewan here with Parker and Tara Mackay. Do you agree with what I just said?
That this is about Rainbow Six?
No, it's the best show for Rainbow Six.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. So how was your Halloween? I'm curious. This is sponsored by Retake. How was your Halloween? Did you have an eventful one?
No.
Oh.
Because of COVID.
Right. Right. Anything scary happened to you?
Yeah, global pandemic.
I guess that is pretty scary.
Space Station almost lost the qualifiers. That was pretty scary.
That's what I was hoping you'd answer.
Terrifying match.
Thank you. You got to it. So we're gonna dive into that more later on in the episode.
Yes, we have an interview with LYCAN, so we're gonna be able to pick his brain. Also, now that stage 2 is done, we've got the stats for stage 2, so we're gonna look at that. And FACEIT Pro League launched in North America, so top plays, anybody?
Yep.
Anybody?
Yep. Now, also, Halloween is over, but
yes,
Ubisoft did release a really good special event. Did you get to play it at all?
I did. I did. It's not as spooky.
No, it's really funny.
It's more unnerving because it's based on the Muppets. But before we get into what it's about, they've done a couple other spooky events, so why don't we dive back into those in this week's archives? Ubisoft's wild limited time events are some of the most exciting weeks in a Rainbow Six season. There's no limits to Ubisoft's creativity for these events, ranging from Western to weird to whimsical. This year's Halloween event is one of the most creative affairs yet, with one major addition that's got the whole community talking. But before we get into that, let's go back in time to the best limited time events in Siege's history. We'll run it back to where it all started, Truth and Consequences, New Mexico. That's where Ubisoft decided to place its first major in-game event, Outbreak. The event saw Rainbow Six's operators fight hordes of infected monsters across 3 challenging co-op campaign missions. Outbreak showcased Lion and Finka and released themed Alpha Pack collections for the first time ever. The community response was so overwhelming that Ubisoft decided to split the event off into its own game, Rainbow Six Quarantine. Originally to be released this year, Ubisoft recently announced that the game's been moved back to at least 2021. Meanwhile, the road to SI was a huge step forward for Rainbow Six Esports. The first road to SI in 2019 featured a casual playlist. It let players get a feel for competitive rule sets alongside the pick and ban features. It also introduced the 2019 Cosmetics Collection, with 30% of Alpha Pack sales going towards the 6 Invitationals prize pool. The SI 2020 event was even bigger for the scene the second time around. Players faced off on the brand new Stadium map with unranked rules and all of the operators unlocked. Expanding on the Alpha Pack collection from last year, Ubisoft introduced the game's first major Battle Pass as a part of the rollout for the Invitational. 30% of the premium Battle Pass sales went straight towards the prize pool for SI 2020. With the 6 Invitationals future currently uncertain, we'll have to see if the road to SI returns in 2021. Let's jump to last year's Halloween event, fondly known as the Doctor's Curse, and its spooky game of hide and seek. Ghoulish defenders had to hide with only their gadgets and a few clever tricks up their sleeves to win the round. Meanwhile, the attackers, known as the Exterminators with sledgehammers and gadgets of their own, well, they had to survive the House of Horrors and wipe out the monsters. This year's Halloween event is more unsettling than it is spooky, but players are already quite sweet on it. Sugar Fright takes place in Frost's Dreams, where all the operators are now Muppets, and collecting candy is the aim of the game. Sweet Hunt is Siege's take on Call of Duty's Kill Confirmed, with players able to respawn to keep that sugar rush going. It's the closest to deathmatch or a warm-up that Siege has ever had, and the community is buzzing about it. While feelings are mixed on the cosmetics, people are hoping it's not the last we see of the new game mode. Who knows? Maybe Ubisoft will release a sugar-free version of the new game mode. Until then, you've got till November 10th to satisfy your sweet tooth.
So many fun events. Do you have a favorite?
I do.
Which one?
I'll never tell.
Well, that ended that segment real fast.
All right, let's wrap it
But
up.
really, though, do you have one?
Rainbow is magic.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
It was filled with joy.
Actually, that's shocking that you would choose that one as your favorite, considering you're not filled with joy at all.
No, I'm a heartless husk of a man.
Oh, actually, no, that does make sense to me because it fills you with joy temporarily.
It's like, I would imagine that the Grinch would hate that game, but it would make his heart grow 3 times in size. So.
If he had a heart. And it's really weird that you
Which he did, by the way. If you know the book, he had a heart.
Why are you bringing up Christmas now? It's like months away. We don't have this is not the Christmas episode.
I'm sorry, most major stores have been marketing Christmas for at least the last couple weeks, so you need to get with the wind.
You're right. You know, as soon as Halloween is over, it just switches to Christmas.
It's like the moment that it's like November 1st, 12/00/0001 or whatever. It's like you start to see the Google index just tick upwards with the mentions of Christmas, and you're like, oh God, here we go.
You know what's not going to be in time for Christmas though? Quarantine, right? There's news out that it's been pushed till next year. So
you have to be specific about the type.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. No, we have quarantine right now, but I meant the game, the next expansion.
Rainbow Six Quarantine.
There you go. That's
separate
better.
Game.
Separate game. Quarantine. It's weird though that it's not coming out now, which is really timely if you really think about it. But
yeah, I mean, I also would be kind of wary. I'm not a developer, but I don't know how I'd feel about releasing a game based on like quarantine and zombies and a plague and blah, blah, blah in the midst of that happening in real life.
Are you telling me it's just not, isn't the perfect timing? It's like on brand with the world.
I don't know, there's actually a prevailing opinion right now that a lot of people are shying away from the heavier games because they want to escape a heavy reality. And that's why games like Among Us and Fall Guys and all these jovial games are doing so well.
You're so smart.
I don't come up with these opinions, I just parrot them and it makes me seem smarter. You know who is smart though?
Who?
Justin Woods. Everybody knows him as LYCAN. Space Station's coach was smart enough to help his team navigate through the North American qualifiers, and they managed to get in by a hair. So let's call him up and have an interview with the one and only LYCAN. It's time for another interview here on Retake, and we have one of the most famous and well-respected coaches in all of Rainbow Six. I know him as Justin, or maybe even Dally. I'm just waiting for his face because I know he hates that. You know him as LYCAN. He's the prolific coach, the world champion himself of Space Station Gaming. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
It's always nice to get to talk to you. I'm glad
You too.
It's under good circumstances because you almost didn't make it out of the quals. I guess the first question for you, I know you have a lot of faith in your team, but when you were watching that match, was there any doubt that you weren't going to come out on top?
Not for me. It is always kind of like unsettling because, especially as a coach, I don't have a whole lot of control. I mean, like I have control, obviously, like in stuff that happens before the game, but as they're playing, it's, you know, all in their hands. And as you see it kind of like progress through, it does seem like it's troubling. But I kind of see it in our advantage the longer the game goes on. I just have so much more faith in our endurance. And like when it gets to that last map and like the pressure's on, I know that we are way better suited for that scenario. Look back at SI, for example. Like we've been through that plenty of times where, you know, if the pressure is on, we are going to be the better team in the situation. So it is scary, but at the same time too, I knew that we had like that experience to fall back on, and I didn't ever at any point think it was like going to be a problem.
Do you think that fatigue played a role in how DG seemingly fell off on that last map, or do you just feel that you were better prepared for Villa?
I think it was probably a little bit of both. We had really good ideas of what to do on Villa. It just happened to be like at the very end with what we were trying to do. I think we were really aggressive with picking Consulate because they had always like banned it before, but we'd never really played them on it. So it was something where we were going in blind, where we could have just said, well, we know exactly what we want to do on Villa. But also at the same time, it's a BO5. Like it doesn't matter when you win it, as long as you win it. And so we did want to play them on Consulate because we thought it was the better choice. Ended up not being so, but I think it was a little bit of of exhaustion. I mean, coming down to the last map, they had just played the BO3 before, and we had a little bit of a break.
If you don't win the mini major, who do you think will?
I think TSM.
Really? What do you think gives them the edge?
I personally think that they're a very good team. They've like proven themselves time and time again. I do think that DZ has had really good recent success, but I don't think that they're like more dominant than any of the other teams. I also think like any of these 4 teams could win. Like, I think that NA as a region is significantly stronger than any other region. We don't have a way to prove that, unfortunately, but I believe if we were to go to a LAN with the 4 teams that we have, we'd see these 4 teams in the quarterfinals.
It's big praise. You heard it here first. SSG coach endorses TSM, not his own. Print it, run it. That's the headline.
Nice.
No, it's always a pleasure to get to sit here and to talk to you. I hope that you're doing well. You look great.
You too, man.
And so does the rest of your team.
You as well.
I really do hope, as an unbiased actor, I do hope all the best for you in the mini major coming up. Thanks so much for spending some of your afternoon with me. I really appreciate it.
You too, man. Thank you so much.
With the FACEIT Pro League finally coming to NA, we couldn't resist throwing up the best plays from the launch. Yeti gets the honor of both the first play in this 6-pack and the first ace in the FPL. One by one, Yeti keeps his team in the fight to seal the round and make FPL history.
Jump down.
One down.
Shoot that.
Main.
2 up main. 1 up main. Yeah.
Q and Sledge.
High Q and Sledge. Where's that Abana?
Downstairs.
Oh, got her. Jesus
3
Christ.
main.
3 top main. 2 study side, 1 Mary. Will you double peek him?
Yes, yep.
You peek him?
I'm walking back. I'm 90.
Don't peek 5.
I don't think they know Yeti's 90.
Yeah.
Just stay alive, Ba. IQ in, no man dead. Last one's on you, Ba. He's at the rotate hole. Could be inside. I'm back. Study. And I don't think he has bomb. Nice. Let's go. Give me that ace, baby. Let's go.
FOXEI's been pulling off some filthy plays since the start of the FPL, so we just had to show him off. FOXEI in a 1v4 with the TCSG. And you know he wins those.
50 HP window.
You're gonna have to run at him.
Oh my god!
Oh
my god. Wow.
Skies has been lighting it up for Dark Zero this stage, and he's kept the heat on for the FPL. Retake's unofficial Stage 2 MVP picks up all 5 on the basement of Oregon in this sweet FPL ace.
Fine, main still.
Ace that.
Zofia is still on main.
I have back. I got 2-1.
Anybody watching the back?
I am back.
I get to run. Habana's at the front. Zofia and Habana. Actually, Zofia's in the...
Good shit, guys.
Last one's at the front.
Where your ace going? It's back bottom main.
Get that
You go for
back.
it. He's back bottom. Get my ace, baby! Ah!
While he's not a pro anymore, Parker's one and only true love Kickstar is proving he can hang with the best in NA.
I heard it last second. There's 2 there. They're fighting the holes. Hallway, pillar.
Pillar. Pushing pillar.
Pushing hall. One more.
One more.
He's
One more
back
pillar.
Back to pillar.
Play tight.
Got 2v2.
We have sight
Again.
vision and hall vision.
Yep.
Cut.
You
Alright.
guys can.
Nice.
One up.
Maybe
So we can call hall and sight.
Alright. Come on.
Don't
jump
that a
over
map
to you.
holes, Kicks.
I can call your freezer. I'm on your freezer, Cam.
Can I jump over to cross hall or?
Just chill there.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
he's
no,
pillar,
it's not
pillar.
Yeah.
Right
he's
side or
on
no?
pillar.
Crouch looking freezer. Don't swing. Right
Yeah, I'm
side.
not swinging.
Yep. If you wanted to go Hall and kill him, Kicks, you could.
Someone let him up earlier.
Kicks, go through the rotate right now. I'm gonna give you a ping. Guys, too late. He's walking up
walking
Hall.
up
Kicks
Hall.
walking Hall in the corner. In the corner.
Right side.
Let's go.
Good shit, Kicks.
Let's polish off this six-pack with another sick clip from none other than Kicks. This time, he's on Clubhouse, and Kicks easily wipes 4 to get the round win.
Your window open. Let's go.
Yeah, he's swinging the mirror.
Armory dead.
Nice.
I don't know. Did we play more oil?
Okay, you want
I
that
did.
angle?
I did. He's still there. He's still there.
I'm off. Is motor drop open? Is metal drop
We should
open?
go play Moto.
Yeah.
I gotta play the
One's
drop.
blue oil pit side, and maybe like one church or something.
He has bullet holes. Right side blue wall.
Are they in church?
Probably,
Yeah.
but I don't know where.
I think she's right behind the bomb. Kicks.
Valkyrie's close. He's dead.
You saw somebody behind the bomb. Kicks. You saw
Okay,
somebody
okay.
behind the bomb.
Yo, I'm planning.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, watch
Got
this.
the bomb.
Go blue.
Blue dead.
Nice.
Kicks!
Nice.
Let's go, Kicks!
Crazy again.
Let's go, baby!
That's all for this six-pack, but stay tuned for next week's six-pack to see the best Major season has to offer.
The stat sheets are all settled for Stage 2 of the Rainbow Six Pro scene, and boy, what a stage it was. Several familiar faces topped the regional scoreboards, with 3 of the 4 players taking top spot for the second time. Let's take a look at the most frightening pros from each region as we head into the November Major season. First up on the list is a familiar name, Team Solo Mid's Achieved, who finished Stage 2 as the best rated player in America. It was a tight race, but the TSM captain narrowly passed LYCAN and his teammate Bolo for top spot. Retake's unofficial best fragger of the stage pulled out some impressive stats, going plus 31 on the KD split and having a huge impact for TSM. His performance was a far cry from Stage 1. He went from middle of the pack on TSM to the top-rated player in North America in just a couple short months. His plus 8 on opening frags, number 3 cost, and 5th overall kills per round were major factors in his push to top spot. Moving on now to Brazil, where Team Liquid's Palu pushed past Nips, Pino, and Musi to capture the top rating in back-to-back stages. The veteran Brazilian pulled up huge kill counts, hitting almost 180 frags and taking the highest KPR of the stage at the same time. Palu shined on entry as well. His plus 18 on opening duels gave him another top spot on the leaderboard. Palu's dominant performances were a major factor in Team Liquid's successes, outperforming the rest of the team by a wide margin. In a surprise to absolutely nobody, Hysterics kept his place on the APAC throne this stage. While Brazil and NA were much closer contests, Hysterics blew everyone out of the water. The Beast of the Southeast kept gunning all stage long, earning a plus 45 kill differential and the highest rated kill per round in APAC. Hysterics was in the top 5 of almost every single major stat line, narrowly missing out on the clutch category, but that's it. His 1.31 rating earned him back-to-back top spots, and he's shown no signs of slowing down heading into November. However, there was one monster whose stats were truly frightening this fall. French phenom Shaiko was Stage 2's highest rated player, and well, it's easy to see why. Europe was his for the taking this stage, simply stunning the competition in several stat lines. His teammate Renshiro was the only one even close in ratings. Even then, he's a full .15 behind Shaiko's 1.36 rating. The Frenchman Shaiko fragged his way to the top of the board with the highest kills per round in the world at 1.12. On opening frags, it was no contest either. Plus 16 for Shaiko, double the second place split. After taking the backseat to Brede in Stage 1, Shaiko reminded everybody why he was still CGG's #1 player. With the major season ramping up, we'll have to see if these 4 can keep up the pace for their teams this November. It's time for everybody's favorite part of the week, and the favorite part of our show. And our favorite part of spending time with each other, Six Posting, which is where we take the content that you make in the R6 community and then we share it for you here. And hopefully you revel in it.
Yeah, and we make jokes.
Because we revel in it. My fellow colleague, Veli, has our first post that we're gonna be sharing with you. And it's a tweet he made that actually has nothing to do with Rainbow Six, by the way. He said, what if people lived in the moon and we didn't even know about it?
Wow. Veli, what have you been doing in your spare time? Because I feel like this was one of those thoughts.
It's one of those tweets.
one
You
of
know what we're
those
talking
tweets,
about, right? So it's
exactly.
one of those tweets.
You see your fellow colleague tweeting these things, what do?
Well, for the most part, I just ignore Veli's content because he tweets so much.
Oh my God.
I can't lie! I joked that whenever there's like some random Twitter user that only has like 6 tweets and has 2 followers, one of those followers is Veli. And it's just like, it's always the case. He's following like 8,000 people.
Okay, you've complained
That is
about this before.
way too many.
Okay, what are you, the Twitter
Veli
police?
unfollow people.
What if he unfollows you next?
That's totally fine. His feed would probably get better. I only tweet garbage.
That's true. You post a lot of selfies recently. I'm not really okay with that.
They're not selfies. They are photos from this show.
That's not true.
I don't take them.
All right, moving on. We have a tweet from FACEIT, and he said, "We need some crazy roster changes to cause rivalries. Who would you like to see on your favorite team? Give me some hypothetical roster moves you'd want. Are there any crazy roster moves that you'd like to see on a team?" Let's get crazy with this. Let's not play it safe, okay?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like because they're all friends and now most of the teams are in Vegas, it's kind of hard to beat enemies. And this is something that a lot of other leagues have actually talked about. Is like when you're running a LAN league and everybody's hanging out and all that jazz, you can't really hate your opponent. It's harder to hate them face to face than over the keyboard, which I think is true of all internet trolls. So. This is the last one. It comes from user HesTheMess21, and it comes from also a show I happen to like very much and a very funny scene. It pictures old Troy, or Don Glover as people might know him, in Community arriving at an apartment with a box, or a couple boxes of pizzas to witness total mayhem. And the joke is that that's Aces coming back to Rogue in stage 2 of EUL. Why? Because Rogue went 0-0-9. They were awful. So he comes back to essentially total chaos.
This is fine.
Everything is on fire.
This is fine.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
At least he has pizza.
For what it's worth, not fine. Rogue were really bad.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a good show. Community.
Great show.
Yeah, great show.
Great show.
Not a great showing, Rogue in stage 2.
Rogue, you gotta do better. Hate to say it.
All right. Well, that's all for this episode. We're gonna leave it on that great positive
They were
note.
like the Pierce of.
Yeah, okay. Don't.
EUL.
Yeah, if you guys know Community. Okay, anyways, that's it for this episode. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials at. You what?
On Twitter and on Instagram.
At Watch Retake. I'm sure you follow us, right? You knew that. You knew the handle.
Also YouTube. Do we have a TikTok?
We could if you
Absolutely not.
Okay, don't follow us on TikTok because we don't have a TikTok, but be sure to follow us on YouTube because we cut up segments. Everything's on there. Be sure to follow us and we'll see you next week.